All right. Welcome to Sisters Standing on Law. This is your host, Anita L., along with my co-host, RVBey.
Good afternoon. It's Tom. I and happy. I just gotta say, we go direct today. Thank goodness. All communications are now clear to go. So if you've been experiencing some miscommunications or whatever like that, that's like we're trying to tell you. Don't even try it. Until, yes, until the energy of communication goes direct. I know I have, so it works.
Yeah.
It really.
I'm not sure if the syllabus updated, but I'm looking at something that looks old. So I thought I updated it.
Did we have, well, this was, well, today means they last week.
Oh, it did update. It stayed my browser. I read it.
Right.
Today's broadcast is entitled The Law and Adaptation. Today, many say we are a lost people, as we know nothing of our, hold on. We know nothing of our heritage. This is incorrect. Heritage is all around us and within us. However, if you have taken on the English practice of removing, eliminating, or holding mother as insignificant, then or adopt foreign English practices as though they are English, negating the public proclamation that you are Moorish. All about nationality. And we have to know that the nationality is based on the bloodline, and the bloodline that comes from mother. This is something that we really have to receive, because anything other than that natural law will contradict and void any public proclamation made regarding nationality. You have to know that. You have to know that. And none of these foreigners are going to pull your coattail and say, hey, let me give you some information, or hey, let me just tell you a little bit about your heritage. They're not going to do that. And to expect that demonstrates just how much we don't know who and what is what, demonstrates how much we don't know what our situation is, and it demonstrates that, you know, the whole uniting of Asia, that Prophet Noble Drew Ali came here to initiate, still, for many, has not begun. And that is the foundation of everything. Listen to what we say, and they act accordingly. And this is not just here. This is around the world. This is happening around the world, and it is the displacement of the Aboriginal indigenous people because of lack of information. And the only reason that the information is not received is because it has been presented in such a way as to stroke the ego. And, this is why Prophet Noble Drew said, draw a circle around your passion and square up your conduct, because you're not supposed to be led by emotion. You're supposed to make sound decisions based on universal law. And, that encompasses or includes nature law. As we're natural people, we have to speak in a, from that premise, and we have to let go of anything that is contrary to that. Because to hold on to it negates the whole principle of nationality.
With that being said, that's, I don't even want to say that it's daunting, because it's not. It's just missing exactly what you said. Like, I'll give you somewhat of an example. Well, not an example. What we're mixed up in is who we are naturally, nature's law, which is absolutely a travesty, because you have people who go into, and I think I kind of mentioned this to you. I forgot to pull it, but I'm pulling it now. People who absolutely do not honor the fact of where they came from, just minimally, which is from their mother. Now, I remember you, Eddie, telling me that people literally think, and I'm trying to find that one now, that the I don't even know how to say this without understanding how all of this affects everything that you said, everything that you do, especially in enforcing who you are, therefore dealing with matters regarding you, regarding law, regarding violations against you. Now, people start going into things that when you really read it, it all comes down to, all of it comes down to the 14th Amendment. And the 14th Amendment births corporations, fiction people, not natural people. So what they'll do is they'll start citing things that are really meant for that. Has nothing to do with natural people at all whatsoever. Now, it all sounds very well. But it's all lacking dealing with a person who's a natural flesh and blood being, period. Just period. And so they roll with that. Now, there is a group, and I'm not going to necessarily mention that. I do not like doing that. But the leader or the head of this association, and that's another thing. You become a member of something, please understand that you have become a member of some sort of association. And in this case, I'm not just talking about, the normal member or association of the MHHS. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to mention that. I'm talking about any association, any membership, then just know that you're just a member. But you come in as a natural person, whatever your nationality is, and if you decide to no longer be a member of whatever, then you still leave as who you are. No association makes you who you are by birth, which comes from your mother. Raw and naked, with or without anything whatsoever and at all, you will birth from your mother. Not birth, B-E-R-T-H, from a ship. They took the same jargon, if you will, or concept, and applied it to artificial things. Then wrapped it up in as if it's the law, and you go and believe that. I read to you something making so much sense to me. And they were saying everything, and then in the end, it was about the 14th Amendment, which means you just negated your natural birth because you dealt with something that dealt with that. And you're rolling in something that dealt with, or activating something that deals with that. It's so important. It's so important. It's like I spoke with some elders that said, everything that people have been looking for in terms of the change or the new paradigm or, the word, let's say the new paradigm. A lot of people had talked about that and that it's coming. Well, the truth is it's already here. It's already been here, really, because it's within you. And so activated, they will, for instance. Many people say, well, we're not going to, they don't honor law. They don't honor whatever. Well, there's their corporations. They may not honor, they may not write their stuff or their regulations or their, you must do this and you must do that. It's not written for you. So, and if it's written in support of the 14th Amendment or corporation, which makes a lot of sense in fact when they are, then it's not talking about you. The thing is we have to be talking about us and who we are. We have to, and you said it the other day, if the law's not on the table, you have to put it on the table, and that goes, people are not putting it on the table. That goes back to the fact that in order to do that, you must know that. Now, I am realizing that sometimes we want to over assume freedom, no presumptions and no assumptions in law. There are just none. We want to over emphasize because we think that's what we have to do. If I could say, if you could just breathe and be who you are. So that means when you write something, you're not writing it from that. You're writing it from the fact that you are the man, meaning you are manifested through length, angle, and width of energy. That's really what it means. And yes, that goes to whatever happened in the womb that affected those energies. It's real talk, true. Now, I know, and I have to share with, what does it say? The mother has never, the mother, now this is how some people say, and mostly it's, people who want to take leadership roles, which are fun, let's get real, people like races to them, and all that. They're warriors in their nature, but they've taken up the wrong sword and they turned it and snapped it onto their mom, cut their heads off. That's what the sword over the woman's head in the federal private orders are. So here's the statement, and you go for it. You figure this out. Honestly, this is what was written. Women do not set legacy of men do. Men do. Period. Women produce, manifest, whatever you say, your spirit is, or your soul is, or where you've been before you came to this human door here, which is her womb. Whatever that is, you're greater, that we are greater than the flesh that is us. But whatever that is, it was produced by her, not by you. You didn't grow a child in the penis. It didn't happen that way. Why do we believe that? I'm not going to ask why, but that's ludicrous. So when you think that way, that means that a person who thinks that way also is going to apply things in their life. And if they start associations or whatever they done or whatever they do, or if they're teaching you or if they're advising you, they're going to advise you from that position. And I think that's what's being said here. Because if you're not standing from the position of foundation, then you're losing. You're misdirected. You're going to fail, even though it sounds good at first. It's not. Because losing that foundation, is, well, foundation is foundation. And if you go out on a shaky foundation, it's going to fall. No one needs to, have to explain that. So how is it that someone can say that when the bloodline lineage comes from her? So therefore, again, one of the things that was then adopt, as you said, adopt other things that have nothing to do with you and your natural flesh and blood status. It just doesn't. They'll adopt what they call laws that, again, have to do with the birth of a corporation, not the birth of a flesh and blood being. So if it becomes a conflict, whether, and you said it, they're not going to point that out to you. You're going to say, go on in. Yeah, he's coming. We got the gate wide open. Well, yeah, corral you right in. And you're done. And you wonder what happened or what's happening, because a lot of these things are engineered so that you will not see the effect until later, including later in generations, because that's how it works. So there was one more that I was trying to find. I'm going to have to find it later. So not honoring where you came from and who built you, who made you. So as great as your spirit is before you came into the flesh and all the great things that you've done, and you can sit and meditate and say, I remember when I was, I used to be a queen, on an island by your feet, rainbow-colored people, everybody happy as can be, like wherever that is that you wish to, see again or be about again. You came through this one door or through your mother for a reason. And you're here in the physical for a reason. And so you can, share that, those experiences, those thoughts, those ideologies, those images, those memories, but you can't give them to anybody. But you can share those for what you do. Say, well, why am I here today? What am I here for today? Why do me and all my greatness get fashioned and formed and imprinted upon through the great mother with itself and birthed me natural birth after the waters of the womb filled. And all those waters was where the knowledge was, where your baptism was. And the baptism was you were being baptized in waters of your mother's womb for those 10 lunar months. A more specific reason. Because you are great. You're the great spirit. You're not the body. You are all, you feel that, right? Many people feel that way, and they think they're high above, on a pinnacle high above. But the fact is that if you came through the world in all your greatness, right, and your temple, your body, your physical, or your I don't want to say shit because that's what they use. And they're talking about literally, and commerce and stuff. So you got to be clear. But you came through with this body, which is the temple, to house your great soul and spirit, or the spirit animates the soul, or through the womb, got baptized into it, and came out for a reason. And one, you don't know that, and if you abandon that ship, if you will, mother ship, if you will. Then you're not anchored to it. What are you doing? Just flopping in the wind? Just flopping in the water? You have a purpose. And because you honor where we baptize you, like if you could imagine yourself being in a womb right now, which oftentimes you're doing and you're feeling like you need a sense of security and you ball up and you go to sleep, that's the feeling of a womb. That's the feeling of going back to the center, to the luminous water and the light. Because when you do sleep, there's still light. There's light. So if you could go back there when you're in your mother's womb and remember all the things that you were baptized for in her womb, in her waters, in those waters, what would that be? From there is why you're here. And definitely to honor why you're here and to honor who brought you here. Not to dishonor the, quote, father. We're not saying that. But a baby was not in the testicles and then shot into, shot into your womb. That did not happen. The eggs were there. So therefore, got to get the foundation straight. Not allowed to disconnect from the one who made you and passed on through her womb waters, baptized you for a reason. You got to get that. Because that foundation is the foundation of law, length, angle, and width. As you manifest here, because length, angle, and width are of the energies and not necessarily of what you call man-made law. Now, the closest thing to that in honor is the preservation of your birthright, your unalienable, inalienable birthright, your right to be left alone, your obligation to do care to others. That's basic. That's very basic, extremely basic. And so when it comes to the fact that, we created some other season, cause havoc on the earth, where are you going to and fro to the earth to see what I can devour? I mean, we did that. Let's get real. We did. And so we deal with that. Call it karma, call it wake up and acknowledge it so that you can then fix it. Because once you know who we're doing what is what, it's a piece of cake. Because all of a sudden, you're not blocking. We block. We block with FEAR, false evidence that appears real. We block with what is programmed in our mind, which is why it's the mental slavery. And so if we got that clear, everything would be clear because it never went anywhere. Nothing ever went anywhere. We get people who talk about, they're in control. They're in control because you're not in control of yourself first, and then how you show up in society. Period. That's the only reason. So without honoring, you're going to go very far. And you're going to grasp onto things. And a part of us wants to be, feel secure, safe, and like everything, just everything. So I say to this, of the divineness of yourself and your being has been somewhat written, because we've said it before. Divine law can't be written. But in the spirit of it, because of what we created on this earth, that seems to haunt us, which is nothing but our lower self, quite frankly. We've been, when we talk about the Constitution, it doesn't tell you what you can and cannot do at all. And they, how about that word, those who would violate your liberties and your rights. Now, you can see they talk about, well, that's what they do. Well, that's only because we don't do otherwise. We don't recognize otherwise. It's all very clear. So it keeps at bay, starting with, as we said before, we've done the whole course, Bill of Rights 1. Bill of Rights 1, right to associate. That means right to, that can translate if you're doing commerce, to write a contract. Same thing. The contract is expressed in writing, written, or written. So that keeps everyone at bay against us. And I find it interesting. Very, very, very interesting that we will do everything, and I do mean everything and anything, requires you to know the difference between, to know the difference when someone is violating their portion, their obligation as well. When you don't recognize it, then I'll be impossible to say. If you don't recognize, that you were already secure, already baptized with information before you even came here, and you were crowned to be here. Like it says, although I may walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'm not feeling this reverse life thing, which is what evil really is. If it's spelling backwards, live or evil. Higher self, lower self. That's really all it is. Shadow of the higher self. That's all that it is. And knowing the difference, knowing the difference, that has to start with each one of us first. First. But this, we do. We know that. Misled, miseducated. We know that. We don't recognize that. We look now for other people to be the leader instead of recognizing, as you said, for all those who truly study the most final national movement of the world work, which is our lead, go straight to straight to the secret teaching of the Brotherhood of the East, and it tells you chapter 8, as Jesus was up, a new celestial cloth has been woven. You got to make a priest of yourself, which means not necessarily that you can complete things, it means you got to know. You have to. And if you don't know where you came from, to the most, just the fact that if you don't know nothing else, you came out of your mother's womb who made you in 10 months, that much you can know and we do. As in, remember the relationship that finds you when you go out into the world and accept no stranger's blood lineage your own. So once we get, without that information, without having that knowledge, once we start imparting ourselves into the world, that's when it gets fakakta. Fakakta. That's how it works. But it gets all fakakta, so we're all messed up. Because we went out the door without the foundation that should have came from mother, so therefore we got a home starting with mother, home starting with mother. So this is what is lacking, but we don't want to turn around and address that. So here we are out there in the wilderness, for real, crossing over the seventh house, going into society, and partnering with others without having the foundation of ourselves. It's like we're looking for ourselves in someone or something else. That's really what we're saying. So you're supposed to bring you to the table. Bring you to the table. And if the lesson is you, because we're all here for lessons, do not match or have any type of interest in other words, if someone else is not here, to be able to sit in the lesson or in any way have anything to do with the lessons you have to learn, what do? We try to force it. We try to force the relationship without remembering the relationship that binds ourselves. Because the person will say, okay, so he's quiet and everything. So now here we go, and we're out across that seventh house. Now we're supposed to be walking out in the way that Mama made us. That is consistent, constantly, from birth, from infancy, birth, all the way the house or into society, period, which means relating and relationships, whether they're sexual, whether they're business, period. Now, what I'm saying cannot be straight. I don't care what, how, when, whatever. What I just laid down is exactly how this thing goes. Not just because you may not recognize it does not change the fact. That's how it goes. Does not. So, and it calls over to the social arena. We've had miseducation and all that. We know that. We're not tired of saying it for help. Heck, if we know we got miseducated, then we get to studying so that we can fix that. But so here we are coming into society, and we're supposed to be bringing ourselves to the table, and we don't even know ourselves in any way, shape, form, or fashion on a foundational basis, because that foundation that we need to have was missing. So now we're not only looking for a partner for whatever reasons we may want a partner for, we're also looking for a partner to make us complete and whole because of what we didn't get from mother. And we keep saying this because it comes back to us. It does. And a lot of people think that, we're blaming something on sons or we're blaming or whatever. We're not. Remember, there's no blame. It's just a reality is to accept the reality. It's just a necessity to accept the reality in order to fix the situation. However, I realize that it makes us vulnerable. Nobody really wants to be vulnerable. But you're going to have to be in order to receive, to be intimate. And you have to be, and intimate doesn't mean sexual. That's the other thing. And you have to be intimate in order to trust, and you have to have that in order to partner with whoever it is to partner with. However, choose that partner right. And we just please go back to the fact that we're here all for lessons. If you know that you're in the valley of the shadow of death, that's not a bad death. All around you is death. All around you is zombies. It's mental. It's mental. They're mental zombies. Mental zombies, because we're here in mental slavery. Believe me, it's a mental slavery. So if you know that, then you have to be very, cognizant of, who and how you're rolling and who you're dealing with. So if you know you're here for specific lessons, you need to get those lessons from your mother, which you really do get while in the womb, but, we didn't get groomed to respect those lessons that we already, before we got crowned to walk upon this earth plane. This is not speculation. This is real talk. This is real. No, nobody speaks. That's what makes it so universal. No one escapes this because they may decide to, things about their personal life, even their religion or what they think is religion. But you can say whatever you want. This is how the thing goes down. You're baptized in the waters of your mother's womb. That's it. You're birthed and crowned at that point. During the time of that baptism, your directions, your instructions are given. Period. All right, and then as I said, here we go. You can go through the astrology well and understand how things are applied prior to you crossing over that line of the seventh house and going into society. There's a lot of stuff that's supposed to happen prior to you doing that. So it's real talk, no matter who you think you are, what you think you are. That's what's going down. And that's why you'll see you have to go back to fix certain things that maybe happened to you that you didn't rectify or whatever like that. All right, now, I want to say this, and then I'm going to end the last year that the day before. And it became something dealing with the mind, dealing with mental slavery. So if I can, use it on this. And this is about the definition of epinoia and paranoia. Because it is important that the mind is feminine. Now, that's another Travis. honor their mother is because the mind because it creates. The mind creates. And this is what we realize, what this is all about. So the mind is feminine, and it's called, when you read the book of John, which we are told always to read the book of John, the secret book of John, the secret book of John, the sacred book of John. It talks about the epinoia or the enoia. You can look it up yourself in terms of those words, right? And it's all epinoia and paranoia. They both, listen, paranoia and epinoia both relate to the mind. Paranoia, or idea, it is feminine. So the mind is feminine because it creates. And it's created. So paranoia is something that's not normal when it comes to the mind. But the defiance of it is that it's delusion or exaggerated self-importance, basically lost with reality because you're paranoid, right? And can lead to what they call schizophrenia or schizophrenia, you know? And that explains sometimes why people get it today. Like they listen to certain things and they learn certain things and then tomorrow you know, it's like you got to tell them again or they don't get it. Because they're dealing in the paranoia, which is I have no mind. This is what the prophet said, I come to take you out of the mental place. All right? So that can lead, those breaks, can lead to being schizophrenia, paranoia. Epinoia means creating feminine mind, a thought idea. And paranoia means something abnormal from that. Now, when this is intact, this is how, and I get it from that, we create our own reality. Because we're in the epinoia, the created mind or idea, thought. But when the para comes in, then that's the delusion of persecution. I thought that was so hot. Like you having a delusion, what's going to happen? We all experience it. I'm not sure of that either. We all get that. It's a delusion of persecution. That's paranoia. You have a delusion, so a lot of times you'll say, well, what if they do this? Or they're going to do that? Or whatever we say. That's a delusion of persecution. So in that thinking, we are being paranoid, which is abnormal to the mind, which is created. And I get it. I find it, I'm going to say I finally get it, but I knew that, and then I looked up these words and said, I see. That makes sense. If epinoia is created in the mind and creating, therefore it is feminine. Look it up for yourself. It is. Then, and that's where Sophia's affirmation comes from, because it's love of philosophy. That's where Sophia comes from. And that's where in the secret teaching of the Brotherhood of the East, I believe it's in section, 8, chapter 8, too. And it says that, listen, man has lost their ways. We have another garment they must wear. Something that this is what it says basically. They're like, something's up, but let's meet and have this discussion. So it says the universal energies, the law, the length, the angle, and the width. Okay? And where did they meet? In Philo's house, because that's philosophy. And Philo is love. And that, the Egyptians, had to meet in the house of love in order to figure out what the heck does man need now? What shall we take? How shall we, do this? Because they haven't gotten it yet. Their priests that they call priests are not good for anything except for funeral chants and graves. Man, they missed it. Geez, what shall we do? Let's meet in the house of law person for another 7 days. Because remember, 7 days is not just 7 days. It means a lot. Cycle of 7, cycle of 7. 7 days in a year, 7 days in a month, and nothing but 7. So, with that being said, the seed is the thought, and that's the fact. And the honor of mother, or the dishonor of where you came from, and who made you, and who set you out to go across that 7th house, to go across that 7th house into society. Who did all of it? Who did that? And I'm not excluding the father. I'm not. We're talking mother. We're talking mother and son here, of course. But, when you disconnect her, which is what has been done, to dishonor where from whence you truly came, you're in trouble. And when you're in trouble, you become food. When you're in that kind of trouble and don't know how to get down, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz had to get down the yellow brick road. And if you're sitting at your yellow brick road, which is your journey, which is your road, and you're waiting for someone to carry you down it, you're in trouble. Because as you sit there waiting for that, you will get taken. Same thing applies because we do not honor our mothers or our fathers. Period. And so we have crossed over, psychologically speaking, or applying it, cross over from once being naturally born, not B-E-R-T-H from a sexual relationship in commerce, not that. We've crossed over into the 7th house, or into that line, that equinox line, because that's the equal. You have to balance the personal and social, all that it is. The social is a reflection of the personal, period. So when we get to that step and we cross over it, we bring the confusion to the world. We just bring it to the world. And that's what's been happening. Because it doesn't matter what corner of the earth you're on. It doesn't matter. As you said earlier, this is about everything and everybody. It doesn't matter what corner of the earth you're on. It doesn't matter what you think you are religiously. It doesn't really matter. What we say is the fundamental basic principles that go down with every body. Then we get caught into the paranoia, or we get caught, and we ourselves are bringing that into society. So we go back to this is why it's important how we raise the children in the mother's house. Because, people, like I said, people think, oh, well, you excuse your father. No, he has his duty, too. He definitely has his duty. But if she's not right, you best believe nobody's going to be right. It just shows you that because it happens in the womb. Period. She imparts this knowledge when she baptizes her child in the womb. So if she's not right, it doesn't matter. No one's going to be right, and neither is he. Even if he is puffing out his chest, I'm in control and I run my house. That's even all of that is all screwed up. I'll just say screwed up or out of order. How about that? Out of order. So therefore, if it's out of order, then you go into the 7th house, which is the house of order, because the 7th house, 7 means order. 7 means order. So if you come from the out of order, then when you cross into the 7th house, which represents order, number 7, and balance and discipline, then you get spanked by Capricorn once you get to the 10th house of your social status, where you think you shining, where you think you it, where you think this is it, where you think this is, you're showing your status, you're showing who you are. Well, what house is the 10th house directly reflected? 4th house, which is mother. See, so no matter how we try to cut this pie, that's where it goes. So you can cross into the 7th, where you're supposed to have order and be in order. you're going to get spanked in the 10th house of social status. Because you're not going to be looking like what you think you look like at all. So I kind of took it to an astrology lesson because you don't have to believe. You don't have to believe, and you don't have to believe whoever's telling you. Just believe. And just know. Believe. Just know the fundamentals that you can't escape. You can't escape it. That's how it rolls. That's how it is. And so with that, I yield the floor.
All right.
Did I tell you asked me was I too close to the mic?
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's already done now.
Oh, it's got better? Yeah. I forgot I'm on Bluetooth, and I don't need to move my phone. So, that's fine. Anything you want to add?
Nope. No.
Yeah.
If there's anyone with questions, comments, or concern, press 1 on your telephone dial, and we'll begin to take calls. I'd be interested to hear people's comments. All right, we have a caller. Caller 903-609, you're on the air. Islam, you're there. 903-609.
Islam. This is Veronica. Oh, shoot. This is Najwa, Veronique. I was curious. Islam. I was on mute. I had muted myself, so my whole introduction was gone. Anyway, did you guys say paranoia and epinoia?
Yes.
Did I miss that?
Epinoia and paranoia both relate to the mind. It's epinoia is the creating, the thought, the idea. It's feminine. It's creating because the mind is feminine. Because it creates. And paranoia is obviously something that is abnormal from that process, and it is. It's the definition of paranoia, or how it relates to paranoia is delusions of persecution, unwarranted jealousy, and what else?
Yes, I was reading. I'm sorry, I might get a bad area.
Your voice is getting like, Roy, it's getting deeper and deeper and lower as you talk.
Mine?
Yeah, it was kind of hard to hear. Yes.
Oh, all right. How about this? Does this sound better?
That does. Oh, this way it does.
Oh, you know what? I always have my volume up too high, and I think it's not good. But when I'm on my Bluetooth, all right. So let me just say,
it wasn't your Bluetooth. It was your voice.
I apologize. I'll try to change it if I can. Does it sound better now?
Yes, a lot better.
Yeah, your highs are back up, so that's a good thing.
Well, I'm just saying to you guys, I have my volume on my phone down real low. I just checked that, and that's why I wasn't picking up my voice as usual. So anyway, your comment is back. You wanted to know the definition, or you wanted to get clear because both paranoia and epinoia or enoia. Now, if you read the Book of John, that's all it talks about is from the epinoia, and what that means is from the mind. The mind creates. I get it. The mind is what creates. So if the mind is the epinoia or enoia, and then there's the planora. There's another word, but it's just everything. If the mind is epinoia, creating.
Can you spell that? Would you spell epinoia for me and the EL one?
Epinoia. EPPINOIA. Like epinoia or enoia, ENNOIA. Both seem the same thing. It's a different word for it. Epinoia, coming from the epinoia, coming from the all or whatever. It's really coming from the mind because the mind is what creates. So the epinoia is thought and creating thought, idea, and creating energy. Paranoia would be something abnormal from that, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And it is. It's delusion of persecution, unwarranted feelings of jealousy, and lastly, I didn't write it down, but you know how to spell paranoia. Para, and of all of them, the oya. Yeah, all of them are the oya, if you will. So the last portion of, and you can look it up. You can just punch it right in and it'll give you just what I said. But you also must read the secret teachings of the Brotherhood of the East. Because, the secret teachings of John. Secret teachings of John. You have to, all women have to read that. And we suggested it 9 years ago, right? We put it on the site on both the Women's Sister Standing on Law page, and it's on the Returning the Home site. Because it helps to ground and understand. It's not made to. It's made to get women to understand their responsibility, not to get them to say, "Oh, what was me? Look what happened." Because really, what happened? She did it. That's what makes us so smart. We're the ones who create. We're the ones who bring forth whatever, good, bad, or indifferent. And then we're sitting around acting like we got to be saved. It's a travesty. It's not going to work because we're the ones who have to save the souls. In fact, when the souls come in marching in, as they say in that song, when the saints come marching in, how you think they come? Through your womb. So if you're sitting there acting like, woe is me, not knowing how to navigate things, I'm not saying you got to sit here and lift, 100-pound dumbbells and all that in order to be strong. I'm not even talking about that. It's the mind. It's the mind. So if she's sitting there, woe is me type thing, and not knowing who she is and what her obligation is, and that she's here to bring the souls in so that they can have their experiences so that they can become whole. And she's sitting here shaking in her boots like, oh, woe is me, when really she's the one who caused it and she's the one who has to fix it. Now, that is why they steal you away from others. And that is why they do it. Because if you found that truth, you'd find your way. So, the plan is that you don't find your way so that you can be fooled. And they even show you that when they show you the mentally dead, the zombies, that's a big thing now, and they're coming to eat you. Yeah, because, we're talking about the living dead. But what does the thing say? Only the living can correct. Only the living can correct the living or something like that. It's powerful. So I said all that to say that, it's about the mind. It's epinoia. It's feminine. It's creative. The thought, the seed is the thought. The thought is the seed. Paranoia is the opposite. And I did find it. Here it is right here. And it means, instead of epinoia, we're in paranoia, not knowing. And it's delusions. Now, here's interesting. It's delusions of persecution, unwarranted jealousy, or exaggerated self-importance. That's another word for ego. All right? That's another word for ego. When you read the book of John, you will get that. Because it tells you that in the ego of this child that she had, the cause daughters have it upon earth. So it's a direct and indirect. And this is where we have our problem. That's because, we often want to blame somebody. And that's what I found, that when you saw people constantly blame other people for why they could not do what they did, then they're never going to get from that spot. Their feet are cemented right there, because you can't do that. Whatever the lesson you got from someone else, yeah, you got to get that lesson and move on. But you can't let that be why you can't move on, which means you didn't get the lesson. So when we really look at that, it's not necessarily so much about blame. It's about truth. It's about what you're here for. It's about the obligation. It's about stop talking about family and coming together when you don't know your partner is. You know, like we cry about and complain about this and this and this and don't know our part in it. So it's about the obligation that women have. I mean, even if sons wanted to believe, if people wanted to believe that, you know, out of the penis of a son that you created, that you reverse or that you in your womb, called them part of a miracle, because it didn't come out as a woman, because all eggs are feminine. Somehow you transmuted, sold it up, as they say, and extroverted his vagina for a reason. But where did that happen? In your womb. How? They don't know. Oh, that's the miracle. Now why? They still don't know. So if we do not get that every person that we bring into life at birth, what we just did when we did that is laid down the law, the length, the angle, the width, law. Each child that is birthed, that is born, is her laying down the law. So anyway, here we don't know this, right? Because we are the law manifested in the flesh. If we're the length, the angle, and the width, we're about energies, that's who we are. It's not speculation, it's real talk. So here we are, women who actually make, shape, form the body in her womb, not from the earth. Now that's really happening on the earth, from the dust of the earth. It's happening in your womb. What's up with this? It's happening in your womb. Why are you believing that it's from the dust? Although there was something from the dust, because here's the deal. Book of John, we could teach in the John. Oh, what she did create, extroverted the vagina into the penis, made that herself, firm as little pieces of, you know, human DNA. It's got electricity in it. You know what I mean? It sparks the egg. So now you made that, and you're looking, you're lost. So what you made, gotta, what's the word right here? Exaggerated self-importance. It's called ego. Not all, but damn sure most. Why do we say damn sure most? Because it is already written in the story as to what happened. As above it happened, above. It didn't happen below. It did not happen below. And that same being created something from the dust of the earth, because it had the power of its mother. Although it did not recognize its mother, it did not at all recognize where they got their power from. And although even in there it says it had some of the light, didn't even have it all, but it had enough that when it went around people, beings, other things that didn't have any light at all, that is when it lit them up. So if you got someone who has absolutely no light at all, that means no truth, all right? And you bring someone who's got a little bit of light, just a little bit, they're going to light up that person or people who have no light at all. But they still don't have the full light themselves. That's the true story. So now when that same person who has a little bit of the light goes around those who have full light, what do you think they're going to do when they come around the person with full light? They're going to dim. They're going to what?
They're going to become paranoid.
Well, no,
they're
no.
Gonna,
they already are paranoid. Well, they're already paranoid.
I say that because in my opinion, they would fall back into their ego if I'm hearing you correctly, because now you have somebody that's outshining you, so to speak.
No,
so
well, that's
is that
good.
person going to brighten up?
That is a consequence that we experience as a consequence of the fact what it is. That's a good consequence. They're already paranoid. They're already half of it. What I'm saying is, you got someone who has some of the light, not all of the light. All right. So that's who they are. They walk over to people who have absolutely no light whatsoever. They're definitely going to brighten them with the little bit of light they got. Correct?
Correct.
Now, take that same person who has some of the light and let him go over to a group of people who are fully illuminated. He is going to dim the light, because light is light. Their light will dim it. They're not bringing full light. They're dimming the light of the person with ego on the day. Now, when you say ego,
I got you.
You got me now? Oh, wow.
May I say something real quick on that? Because that'll go back to your algebraic terms. That when you take a positive number and what is it? I can't remember. Is this multiply or yeah, I say multiply. Two negatives equal to positive. Two positives equal a positive, but a negative and a positive actually equals a negative. So when you say that one with the lesser light comes into the arena of one with the higher light, he's going to dim that light. He's going to take away from that, like with mathematics or algebra right there.
I'm loving what you're saying, sister, because you're laying down and affirming the foundation of the book of John that people need to secret book of John that we're talking about, and because this is what happened as above. As above, then so below. Yes. Mm-hmm. So now what happens? Now that same person that we're talking about that has this half light, right?
Mm-hmm.
Going around to and fro, dimming some people and lightening others, but do not have the full light. But same thing, the same time that said these infamous words. And when they said these infamous words, it changed the whole program. Well, first of all, that is the one who came and created Adam and Eve, as they say, because it's atom and the evolution of Adam, from the dust of the earth. You and I weren't created from the dust of the earth. That's belief. We may have indirectly the same mother, the only one mother's breast has given everyone something. So a mother made a child or being, and that being made something from the earth. Well, what's up? Their maker is truly a father or truly a male. I'm going to tell you who it is. Now, his mother is you. You try to get this child or children who are of that you created, mother. You did that. Don't blame it on him or the son or anybody but yourself. Or what people don't get is you've already repented and cried many tears for it. So, not that then people get offended. Are you saying this is something bad? No, that's not. We're not saying it's something bad thing. We're telling you the damn truth about what happened with the energy, and that same being is the one who created from the earth, from the dust. How do I know? How can you know that I am correct, that you didn't come from the earth? Because you were manifested on the sixth day. It's right in the Bible even. It even affirms it. And something else came right after that. It's right there in Genesis 1 and 2, and I think we talked about that before. So now, here's what happened. Something, girl. And when he said what he said, that's when she was like, oh, my God, I can't protect him anymore. Lord, it be. What did he say? And then everybody look at her like, what the hell did he just say? I'm telling you, it's a wonderful read. He said, because he didn't recognize where he came from, he was arrogant. which means ego. This is real talk. He said, I am a jealous God. Have no other God before me. And that's when everybody said, oh, shit, what have you done? What did you create? Someone who literally thinks they're God, and I'm using God as a loose term because that's not what would have been used to translation. That's God. Here you have something that doesn't have all, and this goes to today. When you say, all of the human DNA, whatever, it doesn't have all of the life or this being. Because he's so sensitive because men think you're attacking him. You're not. You just got to receive the truth. This being doesn't have all of the life. And then he had a nerve to be talking about, God had no other God before me. And so then the whole universe is like, what have you done, Sophia? What did you create? What did you do? What did you teach that boy? But that's the story for real. So then all hell broke loose. Moor in heaven, the whole damn thing. She cried to repent and say, oh, my God, I can't stop now and act like I don't know what I've done. Now, all of this that I'm sharing with you is the reason why they cut off Mother, because this story is not what needs they want to be told. But it has to be told so that it can be corrected, because she already repented for it. Now, the problem is, and she's on a mission, sister, every day to repair it. We're talking about humanity here. It's not personal. See, that's the thing. We're not talking personally because as a mother, most mothers, when they have a bunch of children together, the weakest one, the slowest one or whatever is the one she's going to look after. So it's not about that. We're not talking about a division. We're talking about humanity and uplifting it, because at that point, at the point where this man, this child, however he is, was, whatever, created from the earth, all right? Created from the earth. Exactly. At that point, it was like, oh, shit, what are you doing? But it couldn't breathe. It didn't have life because the breath of life don't come from him. The breath of life is the holy breath. That shit comes from her. That comes from her. Nobody's going to deny that. When you are born and you take that first breath, you know what I mean? And you could stay in the umbilical cord and be breathing from her breath until such time that you take your first breath from her breath. You've been 10 lunar months in the womb, breathing with her breath, eating with her breath. She made you whatever you are, even if you're messed up. She still made you. That's a fact. So now, when he says, it says, oh, I'm the one, I'm the it, I'm the it. This story of the paranoia, this story, instead of the epinoia, this story that we must get already been written, but to direct you to it is not what is wanted to be done because of this. And this is why some women feel like they labor, they suffer, no rest for the weary, because you have a job to do. That's why. And there is no rest for her. Because even when you read the story in the book of John, it tells you, this is how I'm going to translate it in terms we can really understand, because you need to study yourself and let it receive in your spirit. And I know you, and I know you're going to do that. But it says,
say that again. Say that last part again.
I know you, and I know you're going to go read it and receive it for yourself. All women should are, right?
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. But absolutely. And it says, my thought was this, and it's important. It says, yo, Sophie, you can't come home, baby. And so this is why women will understand why they feel like there's no rest for them. They feel like they got just so much on them. Because you do. You're creating these beings and bringing in these kings, and crowning these children, being male, female. You are responsible for their making, their safe, their well-being. You are. So in it says, yo, Sophie, damn, you can't come home. So sisters, you can't come home. That's why you don't feel like you can rest. You can't. Now, it's real talk. You know why? Because the duty, the obligation, is to get the light from the fool who got dynamite or got kryptonite or whatever, and playing with it like it's a damn toy, thinking that he the one. So your duty is to go and repair or fix what has been lacking. So that's why, and guess what that translates to? Uplift fallen humanity. Humanity has fallen anytime you think you're going to create a being out of nature. But here's the kicker. How did she get to do that? She's not just doing that to thank the person who did it. No, it's beyond that. Here's the whole thing. Once that body was made, that he made, and it couldn't move because it didn't have the breath, it couldn't breathe. It was like, okay, here's the plot. Yo, this is mother and her boys, right? They're like, yo, you need to send 5 stars down there. You need to send your boys down there and tell him to breathe the light that he has that belongs to you, that he got from you, Mom. Tell him to breathe that light into this body, the body from the dust of the earth, because that is not how we were made. We were not made like that. That's why there was the Garden of Eden and the made from the dust. That's not you. That's not you. You are Genesis 1 manifestation. So if you want to refer to the bibliophiliac or the Bible, you better be referring to Genesis 1, where you are manifest in the flesh to the earth, to enjoy the earth, to eat of the fruits of the earth, to all the seeds from the seed-bearing trees of the earth, not to taste, and that be flesh. That's meat. That's meat. And it's in the Bible, make the tree, fruit of the trees your meat, not to taste flesh, and call that meat. So the reversal happened between Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, or the usurpation happened there. It's right there in the Bible, right there. You cannot deny it. It's like two creations, and it's very cleverly blended in between Genesis 1:30, 31 into Genesis 2:1. There, boom, oops, there it is. So look. When they told him, oh, body don't move, huh? The whole objective is to uplift fallen humanity. Fallen humanity is that light that was in him, that he's coveting and thinking is God, this child. When I say he, not all sons, I'm just telling the story. Don't shoot the messenger. Today, Mercury's direct, don't shoot the messenger. So he got the light, and he got the body because he thinks he's God, so-called God, and can create. So he's going to say, oh, you want to send people down here to manifest? I'm going to usurp that. It's right in Genesis 2, baby, right there. He says, I'm going to create man from the dust of the earth. That's what I'm going to do. So those people who think that they're children of this scientist, let's say, they are children. Let's say they are children of Israel, because they are. But that's the false creation. And that's the other thing. So what happened is when she sent her boys down and said, the plot was, if you want to call it a plot, the plan was, Mother, and this is why we're all here today, so here it is clear. The plan was, go down and tell that boy to breathe the light that you gave him, that he's reckless with, and think he's the shit with, causing havoc, creating all kinds of stuff. Go tell him. Now, she couldn't come and tell him. She sent the boys down. They call it 5 stars. That's what they say in the writing. It's all allegory. Tell him to breathe the light his mama gave him. The light that's in him. Breathe that light into that body. I bet you that body will wake up if you breathe the light that you got from your mama in there. This is real talk, I'm telling you. So he breathed the light. And guess what? arose. It sure did come to light because that was the holy breath, which is the light, which is light, is the truth. That's all. So some of the truth. Breathe into them. All right, which is why we're still learning today. And that's Adam and Eve. And that's why we're somewhat, in some way, indirectly, directly related. One mother's breast has given you some sort of kind of, because that's our son who created that. And now you take that to today. It's the same usurpation of creation of nature. It's the same disrespect of the order of nature. But she did it first in an innocent manner. She did it because she had the wrong admixture of energy. So you got to take yourself back to the astrology wheel to understand what you did wrong, because we do not conceive properly when we bring these souls in. So now I'm gonna jump a little. Now go to Revelation out of that Bible. Hell, when she does get it right, and she does get it straight, and she does produce the man-child, and man does not mean necessarily male. The child that cannot be tempted by these lower self, fallen humanity, defines and definitions, all the stuff that hurts and slander and things that do harm. When she does finally get that straight for humanity, they're coming after her ass, and she got to go hide. So that's what you got to look for in the next generation. There's lots of work to do. So now I want to add one more thing. When they told him to breathe the light of his mother into the beings that he made from the earth, and he did, and they came alive. Well, they came alive, but Adam means, Adam, A-D-A-M, means rememberer. Look it up. It means the rememberer. He didn't quite remember who he was. He had to be restored, because humanity has to be restored. Hello? Humanity has to be restored. So he didn't quite remember who he was, so she had to work with him. She had to hide in her own son, in order to restore the memory of where you came from and who you are. While doing so, the other energies wanted to stop that. That's why they talk about the tree of life, the tree of knowledge. Don't you eat from the fruit of the tree of knowledge, because we don't want you to have knowledge. All of that is allegorical about what we're telling you, which is as above, so below. But if you go into this study, then you got to acknowledge Mother, because she's the one who did this. And that brings me full circle back to her sitting around acting like she's all Miss Innocent and stuff, and I got to go and, I can't do nothing, and I get, all this. And I'm not saying you shouldn't refer to your son, because if you raise a good son, it's chapter 2. When we talk about chapter 2 sons, that means read chapter 2 of the Circle 7 Holy Quran, because those sons will be the sons to reveal the light. And it says, but that's only if what? They have been what? Given the light. Who gives them the light? Who gives them the light, sister?
The mothers give them the light.
Thank you. Hello, and thank you. That's all we've been saying. This is real talk stuff. And all of these societal things and this misdirection and some social engineering, it has it so that you divert yourself. So if you got a strong woman, she got some information. First thing going to happen to her is some son or group of sons going to pull her in and try to make her feel good. That's, you know what I mean? And divert her. When she needs to run the nation, she is the arbiter of the nation. The nation is in her womb. Now, I'm not saying that he shouldn't assist, absolutely, because his energy is always attacking. His energy is always warrior. He was designed that way. He's supposed to do that. His duty is to protect her and the family. So he's a warrior. We got warriors without a cause, man. They didn't put down their sword and everything. They just did it. I'm gonna be the one on the throne, just because we allowed them to sit on the throne, because he was the baddest. Shut your mouth out there. If you're the baddest one out there, and you can fight the best, so defend the best. Now, defend means along too, and that's where we get mixed up there. Because defend means to defend the law. Because why? You are the law. That is why in these disciplines, a mufti, originating from Islam, the black fad, competent judge, because that's what it means. A true, yes. It means that you see somebody with that black feather, they better know martial arts from Mars. They're supposed to be defenders from the floor up. Defenders of the law doesn't just, it means the law, and it means physically. He better know martial arts or take off that black feather. See, we may not know this. So we have a lot of our people running around wanting to have a title that they have not earned. And here's the thing. If you cannot appreciate the title that is given to you upon your birth, which is called S-O-N or S-U-N, S-O-N, son, which is your title that you were born with and will die with, if you had 20 wives, it don't matter. You're born a mother's son. You shall die a mother's son. And if you can't respect that title, you deserve none other, because that's the foundation of anything you do and all titles you may receive. Simple as I said it, sis, is as simple as it is. But no, that's not good enough. So we go back to chapter 2. The sun shall be the first revealers of the light, provided they have been given the light. It's right there. Now, there are sons out here that are chapter 2 sons. All right, we know this. Many and most of them are not, because humanity is fallen and the duty is to uplift. Because what does it say? It says revealers of the light. Let's go back to the light that this creation had and misuse the light. And her duty is to fix what has been broken or restore. When it says to restore what is lacking. You know, that's what your duty, mama, is. Because you have to. You must. Otherwise, the whole world is in, back to square one, says, paranoia, delusions
of grandeur.
Well, it ends up to be delusions of grandeur because it's delusions of, what did I say? Yeah, I said it earlier. Delusions of persecution, because that's why they're always defending. That's why we're always in that mode of, defending. Because somebody going, that's why they always, I don't know, my phone didn't work right. I think they come and ask me, dumb shit, right? Or we're in paranoia, which is delusion, which means delusions of persecution. We always think we're going to be persecuted. How can you live in a mindset and you think you're going to be persecuted all the time and actually get anything really, really accomplished? And also paranoia is unwarranted jealousy. That's what these are things of the lower self right here. And the other one is exaggerated self-importance, which means ego and delusions of grandeur. You're right, sis. So now we go to the 101. That's what he says lower self is. Oh, is that right? What's up? Well, the light is trapped. The light is true. So now here we all come here, and we're trapped in these bodies with a purpose, because all of us are one with the light. All of us are a piece of the light. We're trying to unify in becoming one with the all. That's what we say. But we don't know the truth. So that'll never happen. And until you know the truth, you will never change anything and never be able to uplift fallen humanity and take it to a plateau where we are free of paranoia, which is, abnormal thinking of the mind. We'll be free of that stuff. There will be no ego. And you and I both know ain't nothing but ego going around. Hell, we can hardly work with each other when we do know some things without somebody getting up because they want all the attention towards the knowledge. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Okay, I know you do. So sisters, mothers, is why we say we have to come together, because we're the ones who bring in the baby. We're the ones. We're the ones who determine what by law. But see, we're not working by law. We're working not by law, because we determine what is best for the child. What we're doing now, many are doing now, is trying to erase that. And say, oh, no, the father is going to determine what's best for the child. That shit is backwards. But since we are allowing it, mothers, because the only persons that allow is mama, And since we are allowing it, they're just waiting to see, okay, now let's see, we could do about a generation of that shit. By the time we do that, we'll have them so that, hell, it's a done deal. Because they think that we're going to take total advantage of them. And that's what keeps happening to us over and over and over and over again, because we will not turn our hearts and minds to our own mothers and fathers and to the truth about it, which is really what this entire Moorish divine and national movement of the world, I ain't talking about no local MHHS, I'm talking about of the world, baby, of the world, is about.
If I may,
yeah.
Because you gave me a lot to think about right there. And you know, I was in the Christian church at some point, so I just do what I do. But there's a scripture in there in Jeremiah, I believe it's chapter 29, maybe verse 19, where it says, I will gather you from wherever I have driven you, saith the Lord. There's another scripture, I can't tell you where it is, but it talks about the woman who is barren from giving birth has more children than the woman who can give birth. I'm just paraphrasing that.
Oh, say that one more again. I like that. I see why. Now you see why.
The mother,
I love
or the mother who has a barren womb has more children than the one that's birthing, so to speak. I can't remember what it is, where that scripture is.
You get it now.
And what I'm saying, because what has happened is this issue has went out. The birthing itself was an issue, even the creating that you said of him being created and then being created of the dust, and that being another creation outside of her. This issue has come out, okay? That scripture says, I will gather you from wherever I have driven you, saith the Lord. So in that we were driven out. There's another scripture in there that says, I create good and make evil. So when you say they were created from the dust, this issue being created from the dust, the second thing being created from the dust, that is something that has been made evil, so to speak, backwards, living backwards, for lack of another thing. I'm going to go back to the beginning of Genesis. One of the things that's in there when you said that she had the light and she gave him a portion of the light and had to tell him to breathe in or to use that light, that breath that she had given him. When you look at Genesis 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, and 1, 3, I think the last part it says, and God said, let there be light. Okay? And then you get creation. What is really interesting about that is another, in conjunction with another scripture that's in the New Testament that says, I have not given you a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. I believe I said this before, that when you talk about sound, you're not only talking about your mental faculties, which you were discussing, your creative mind, and I still can't get that word that you were using because I'm having trouble hearing you on this mic, on this headset.
Epinoia. No.
Epinoia.
Say paranoia.
Paranoid.
Paranoia. Say paranoia.
Paranoia.
Now say epinoia.
Epinoia.
EPI? Yes. EPP.
Okay.
Epinoia. Epinoia, which is the all, which is the mind, which is the creating thought, idea, which is feminine. The universe is feminine. We all know this. The mind is feminine because it creates. So epinoia is the mind.
I'm give you that. Okay.
Paranoia is something abnormal from being able to create with us. It is delusion of persecution. It is thoughts of ego. That's what it is.
Gotcha.
And unwarranted jealousy. And I'm gonna let you. And unwarranted jealousy. And when you read that, you go right to the 101, and it says, "Look, these are the things that are the lower self."
Right. Right. So let me go with that sound.
Sanity from that. But go ahead.
Okay. With the sound, that's not only dealing with your mental capacities, but that's also dealing with sound vibration. Okay.
Well, thought is
frequencies
sound
and sound.
Well,
okay.
Let me just say this. Thought is soundless sound.
Mm-hmm, but most of us, we're not raised. I mean, in the technical sense, the lawful sense, we are raised with that. But many of us are not taught that our thoughts and our utterances are so well connected in the divine, if you would. Okay?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
so it's one more thing.
Doesn't word follow will? Word, and now when you read the book, the Secret Teaching of John, it tells you in there also that word follows will. So
the word follows will?
Word follows the will. So first you what? Think it, then you speak it. That's why words are important. That's why you have to be careful what you say, because that's what you're manifesting.
Right. Let me give you two with that. I'm trying to get it. Okay. One, I want to go to biology and show you something in the skeletal system. If you look at a skeleton, wasn't the first one. This is the second one. But if you look at a skeleton, just the skeleton, no bone, no muscle, no tissue, just skeleton, and you look at the cranial, and then you look at the pelvic, you're going to see two of the same things. But the one in your head seems like it's got somebody manning that ship, whereas the one in your pelvis, your lower nature, doesn't. It looks like it's shaped like an alien, if you would, alien head, but it doesn't have anything manning it because it's those organs of the lower self. Saw that one day. So what we're looking at, again, what you're saying is higher and lower self. And when it says, I will gather you from wherever I have driven you, saith the Lord, it basically means to pull that issue back up into his higher self, which means you're going back to the Kundalini energy. Now, you said something to the fact that she had created out of innocence or ignorance, and this issue manifested and became out of control, a monster, if you would. My words, not yours. I'm losing my thought because it's coming, but it's coming slowly.
Yeah. Connecting these dots is a true study, right?
Yeah. So with the Kundalini energy, and I don't know a lot, but with the Kundalini energy, it is said that we're supposed to take that energy that happens in the Christ anointing in our cranium, okay, around our pineal gland, and basically make that energy circle back up. That's where the power is coming from, because it's that continual rotation of that energy within our body. Well, we know that thought manifested in the mind, so when we go into our lower nature, if you would, without knowledge, we create a child that is without knowledge, that does not have the knowledge or the light, because she didn't get it in the womb. She got the lower nature in the womb, fulfilling the lower nature's pleasures, if you would. Not that it's wrong, because it's God-given. It's what it is, what it is. It's a part of us. Okay, but I'm thinking that at this point in history, if you would look at it, we're manifesting too many things in our lower nature, obviously.
Yeah.
So let me give you the second. I'll give you the second part of that. So we got to pull that issue back up to the higher self to know that when we're talking about, I'm going to say it this way, when we talk about intercourse, just sexual intercourse, it's the communication, it's the frequency going back and forth between people of competent minds, okay? And sometimes we can be having those conversations, and you throw that light out there, if you would, and what you say, it falls to the ground.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow. I'm writing a note because, I hear you. That's what adultery is. A lot of people think adultery has something to do with, sexual intercourse. When it's true, you look it up, it means to forsake God or your God self. So that's what you're saying. That's really what it means. That exchange. That's really what adultery is. How many people know that? Because you won't know unless you look it up. Adultery. Adultery. Yeah, adultery. Because adultery is to forsake your God self.
Got you. Yeah. And so everything's been lowered. So watch this real quick. So when you go to the Christian black codes, okay, when you go to the mindset of we were slaves, which we weren't, we were enslaved, prisoners of war, I get that. But when you go to those mindsets, you got three things in there, which I've shared before. You have your master, you have your servant, and you have your slave. Your master is your mind. Okay? Your servant is your will. We already know that, but it's like at the heart level. So when you go to Christianity, they tell you, stuff about love, and our first principles are love and this, that, and the other, because we're dealing with the heart level, the center part of that circulation within our body, if you would, the breathing, the blood.
The heart chakra. You mean the heart chakra instead of the root chakra, which is what you just explained on the lower cavity, because the lower self is I'm going to tell you, the lower self is an excellent servant and a terrible master. This is why you have to know your lower self. Yeah.
But watch this. The slave in this aspect is the body. So it would, again, be your lower self, what you're talking about. So what we're missing sometimes is while we're looking out in an external world saying they're doing something, which causes that paranoia that you're talking about, that jealousy that you're talking about, and all this stuff, we should be looking in, which we already know, to our own self, because we are master, servant, and slave. Our body is a slave to our will when our master is in control for the most part. But here's the thing that's happening to us when you talk about higher and lower self. The servant, being the heart, has this job to do, which you can see it illustrated when you look at trust relationship that we have in the external world in terms of what we call government, so to speak, which we're dealing with now, or which, de facto government.
Not and all government, that. Which is not our governing authority at all. At all. Because we don't understand, we're saying, the government. That's not a government. Like, if you say government, what are you governing? You could be governing a shoe store. You could be governing over whatever. But
but what we see in the external world, what we're seeing in the external world is just what you described in the beginning about Sophia and her creation that was manifested into the world. That is a manifestation of thoughts that went on in our head. So there goes back to the responsibility that we have, because we manifested that from our internal being into an external world. Now, when you talk about your higher and your lower self, in that illustration of master, servant, slave, the servant has a very hard job to do, for the most part, the will, because it has to deal with what the master is telling it, and then it has to do what the body's telling it. So you got two things that's going on in your body, your higher self and your lower self, which your higher self is going to be what you mentioned earlier, which is your intuition, whereas your lower self is going to be your instinct, which is your animal nature, if you would. Okay? Now, if you take that and you say it again.
They can work. They do work together. Just like I said, the lower self is great. They do work together. That you're absolutely correct. Because when you said the will, but the word follows the will.
But you have to be above. If you're just looking at your body, you have to be above that soft area we call your stomach, your abdomen, and all of that. You have to be above that, in control of that. That's why we're talking about food. Okay? Because they've dumbed us down to think that we're supposed to eat meat, or because we've been dumbed down or accepted the belief of being dumbed down, eating meat, lower nature. We weren't supposed to do that because right there in the Christian Bible, if you would, it told us not to do that, but we ignored that. We went below that threshold. See, we talk about the threshold of your area as far as what you manifest biologically in the birthing process, but we also need to talk about manifestation or what you birth above that level in a higher chakra, which is controlling your appetite. Okay, which can also be seen when you talk about true capitalism and capitalism. True capitalism is trust. That goes to me and you having a conversation or an intercourse of words, so to speak, and we're at a level that we can trust that none of them words fall to the ground, like what it said in the Bible about him issuing that seed and that seed falling to the ground, and it was a curse or an abomination. We uphold the law. We uphold the words that were given to us. Okay? I forgot where I was at because I almost started preaching. My apologies. But
let me just say this. Let me just say this to bring this back to my balance, Libra. What you just said about the body, you just showed the north side, the north and the south. All right, because once you get to the lowest, like Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, all represent higher self. It doesn't mean that if you're a Libra, Scorpio, Sag, Cap, Aquarius, or Pisces that you're a lower self, because they're all intertwined. Because really, you have to see only 6 signs and their polar reflection. Because it's your decision as to your will, as to whether you're going to take yourself, and who you are, Aries, and whether or not you're going to blend it into a balance, to look to preserve self and also others, and not be so selfish. Okay, that's just exaggerated self-importance, which is ego, which is why you find some people who are Aries and you say that they're just so egotistical and they're just so self-centered and all that. That's because they haven't balanced it with what you're talking about with this lower self. Because you got Aries, Taurus, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and the liar line comes into what? The 7th house, as I mentioned earlier, when you step into Libra, which is what? Balancing the higher self with the lower self. That's what the scales are about. That's what the scale is. So when you look at the body and even the body parts, once you get down to this part and you get to the cavity of the lower self, which is the hip, which is where you said that thing looked like an alien at, right? the thighs are attached to Sagittarius. That's why it can be where, you might be able to say a person that has, kind of hefty hips or whatever, you can say there's some Sagittarius energy in their makeup, because you understand that. But the lower cavity that holds up the upper body is those hips, that hip cavity. And it is also why you see the representation of the Sagittarian, 9 sign completion, that is half what? Half man, half animal. Because of what you just said. But yet the arrow.
I'm the Scorpio.
The arrow, all right. The arrow in his hand. The arrow in his hand always to higher aspiration, because we know or ought to know that there is a balance between the two, and we have to keep that. If we don't keep the balance between the two, that we can go right into the animal or lower self stuff. Humanity, for the most part, is in its lower self. Fallen humanity is to identify what it is all of those things that murder, theft, all of the things that bring harm. That's lower self. That's fallen humanity. And so it is to uplift it. Now, when you mentioned about the Kundalini, this is the reason why you had the depiction of the asp, ASP, and you also have the snake. That Kundalini energy is represented by the snake. And when you talk about health, you always see the snake wrapped around the staff. And then you will see depictions of the coming out of the top of the head, a little serpent, because those people, usually you see that in the Egyptian philosophies or whatever, they are saying that they have risen their Kundalini or their lower self from the root chakra. They have balanced it, and they have risen the Kundalini energy through the pineal, which is why the snake is pointing out of the forehead to represent exactly what you say, because this is what it is all about. And you're right. The body is the slave, if you will, in this manifestation. And this is why the body can literally murder the soul, while the spirit, whatever spirit you have or whatever spirit you allow to be in your cipher, animates the soul, animates it, puts it into either, motion or not. It can animate. So the spirit around you is important because it animates that soul that's in that body, which is the vehicle, as you say, or the slave, all right, to the higher and lower self. But if the body then is operating on the lower self, it murders the soul. It just murders it because the soul's within. And they say,
you look at that. Go ahead.
That the soul sits in a reticular node, they call it, as a little teeny pin light in the heart. And when you pass, and they say you see this stream of light, that's it. So now, if that be true, we need to recognize that here we are in this physical body, whatever handicaps it may have or not have, whatever, and the soul's inside. And we're trying to live our lives out and follow what? As the prophet said in his book. He said, look, no matter what's going on, whatever, follow the dictates of your soul. Because if you follow the dictates of your soul, you're going to be on the right course. But then you have the spirit that's animating the soul because it's the innocent thing, so to speak. It's here for the ride, kind of, like it's in the body. But you're doing things to kill it. You're around spirits and energies that animate it in a negative manner. And so the soul cries out. It can't move. It can't do what it's supposed to do because you haven't married, as you say, the lower self with the higher self. And you have committed adultery, which is to forsake your own God self. So that is true. Now, when we talk about the skeleton, you're right, because the skeleton is ruled by Sagittarius. Sagittarius rules the skeletal body, but Uranus is the energy that develops the skeletal body in increments of 7 years. I'm talking about teeth, bones. That's why every 7 years, your teeth change, your skeleton change, right? Because so we got to understand how the energies are married to each other, And so once you get to the balance, which is Libra, right? Again, and then Scorpio is thereafter. I mean, that's like, okay, Scorpio is reproductive. What are you reproducing? It doesn't necessarily mean you have to, like you said, have a child. But even if you have sex, that energy is creating something. It's creating that action, is creating energy. It really is, seen or unseen, whether it's a child that's born of a womb or a child of the joining of the energy. And so, for instance, if you are laying down with someone of a negative spirit than yours, you know what I'm saying? Then constantly you're creating something, and that spirit lives all around you, in your bedroom, in your home, wherever you go with this negative spirit that you're trying to fit into your lessons that they may not have nothing to do with your lessons. You got to choose someone whose path is similar to yours. Like we'll rebuke along the path, we'll rebuke that which is good for us because we don't recognize it. and then we'll take in that which is not. But that's the lesson we have to sit back and look at it. If you living in a relationship and it's all messed up and you can't be who you are and it's agitating your spirit, agitating your soul, whatever. You know, who said that the guy you chose or the sister you chose was actually on the path, could actually be a party to the lesson on your path? Well, how would you even know to gauge it if you don't even know that you're here for the lessons on your path, to take your path for the lessons that you have? If you don't know yourself, then how could you possibly? So now you can, because you laying yourself on the table once you cross that line, once you cross that Libra and go into the social world, you bring in what you got. And we are lacking. And we're not really lacking. You said it. Nothing is really lacking. It's just that we just have been mis-taught, miseducated. Because when you talk about the muscles, the bones, the tissues, that's what muscle is. It's muscles, bones, and limbs, skeleton. It's all of that. So everybody is a Muslim in that part that is a theist. So, and then there's one other thing you said. Oh, I already said that. The importance of the will, because you said the body follows the will. It has no choice. It's the slave. But now here's the deal. The will is the thought to do whatever it is you're going to do. And the word follows the will. So if you say it, it shall manifest. Because the word follows the will. And, it's interesting. We may have gone to a place here, because, it's simplistic, but the only reason why it seems complicated is because we just haven't been raised in this light. And back to the light, I just wanted to be clear that when she created, it is because the mind, the thoughts are not idle. Thoughts have weight, space, and everything. They are, as I said, soundless sound. Now, we know that's true because when you go to pray, meditate, think, whatever, there's no sound, but you're hearing yourself ask, and you're also hearing your reasoning, and the answers come to you. So that's soundless sound. That's soundless sound, and that is what thought is.
Well, you're dealing with vibration as well when you talk about that sound. So you're dealing with sound as in what you hear, but you're also dealing with vibrations as well, because all of those are vibrations. They said something about your pineal gland will vibrate or something like that when certain things happen. I'm not at that level, and I'm not going to say that I am, but I'm understanding some stuff because even like with the earth, the terrosphere, the atmosphere, the stratosphere, all of this, there is supposed to be a threshold where if you put sound on that threshold, it'll go all the way around and you'll hear it all around the earth. So it's a vibration that exists in us similar to that. When you talk about the scorpion energy and you talked about the kundalini, well, you can also go back to the universe when they're talking about it looks like a serpent eating its tail, 360 degrees in a circle. Basically, we're somewhere balanced in the middle of that, if you would. I'm going to say this because I'm still at work right now, and they just called me, so I got to go get my paperwork. But I want to put this out there when we talk about sound. In the Biblioheliothek, it tells you that the tongue is a little member who can control it, okay? And they equate it to reins, like the bridle, right? Holding the bridle of a horse or a sail, okay? If you go and you look, cross-reference the word kidney and anatomy with the French word kidney, and what you'll see is that kidney in English relates to rain in French.
But the kidney is the waters, right? Doesn't the kidney purify the water? Isn't the kidney what purifies the waters in your body?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so rain, water. That's what they're saying. And
not that rain. They're saying it phonetically because I did something about rain, all the different rains showing how that how those translate over using those phonetic sounds. But with this rain, the thing that I picked up on, when you look at the kidney looks like handlebars because you got two of them hanging on both sides of your body, right? When we were talking about the master, the servant, and the slave, you were talking about the will, down from the master to the will, and then the word. Notice how the kidney comes in that soft area right there. If you can control that, which is going back to what I said, it's going to help to control your instincts, which actually goes back to what the prophet said about you drinking water.
Yes. But back to the waters, sis. And where are the first waters that you navigate from before you come on this earth plane? Okay, hold on.
The water.
The
okay,
water,
yes.
The first waters that you navigate upon is the seven stages of development in the waters of your mother's womb. Back to the waters again. and once those waters swell, you're cut from her navel to become a navigating L upon the earth plane. And you're crowned, too, by the way, at that time. Okay?
Wait. I see something. Hold on. You got two hemispheres of your brain, left and right. In your lungs, you got two lungs, right? You go down further, you got two kidneys. You go down further, you got two ovaries or two testicles. Now, take that and put that back into ancient Kemetic thought when it talked about the twins. Take that, put it back into the secret book of John when it talked about all the pairs. And I got to go back to work.
Okay, well, listen, I'm going to let you go, but I need to know this. I forgot. Are you the sister that's the truck driver?
I am. Yes, ma'am.
So what is your appellation? I got you confused with someone else. I got to write it down and make sure I get it straight. What is your appellation?
I am Najwa Veronique Howell, or Howell.
Najwa.
I'm Najwa.
And what area do you pretty much, what corporate city or state are you near?
I domicile in Texas, but I am so all over the road right now.
Okay, I know, because you're a truck driver, so that you would do that. I'm so glad that you called because I had you confused with someone else, and now I cleared that. And wow, it's good to hear from you. We had a nice little conversing here. I suggest everybody go read The Secret Teachings of John. It was a book. Remember, only 66 went into the Bible, into the bibliotext, but there was a lot more, and this did not go in. And he even says in there, oh, no, it didn't happen the way you think it did. This is what really went down. So I thank you for your call, and look forward to speaking with you again.
Okay, I appreciate you guys taking my call and allowing me to speak on your platform. Much love to you. Islam, peace, and blessings. Y'all keep doing what you're doing.
All right, peace.
All right.
All right, Islam. I think I may have to call the next caller to be on the line at the moment. We have to take a break. And there is another caller, which is 973. Are you there, Sushani?
Yes, I am. Islam.
Oh, this is the castle.
Yes, I mean, I tell you, it was worth the wait because the sisters just finished a conversation. It was great. It's really nothing I have to say. I mean, it was just so much information. I can resonate with the soul and the being. And but I did want to ask you because in the beginning you said something about Mercury. Because right now I got so many times. I have a couple of writs that I'm working on right now, and there's just so much stuff going on. Because it was a little muffled, so I went from my phone back to the computer, and I still couldn't hear you clearly. So I just wondered, what did you say about Mercury in the beginning?
Mercury just came out of retrograde and is now going direct. So if you have been having some troubles with, like you said, you're working on writs, it's probably best that you didn't get them out until after it comes out of retrograde, which is today. That's what I'm looking.
You know what's so timing, and then because for some reason I just could not get it together for nothing for the last couple of days. And I said, well, I'm going to just sit, relax. I'm definitely going to listen to the class today. And then when you were saying something about Mercury, and I even feel better about it now because like even more information has come to me. But Sister Roz, I want to say, oh man, what a beautiful, great, informative class. And one more thing I want to say. So many of our sisters and mothers are on these prescription drugs, and that is definitely messing with their higher self, vibration, and information, anything they're trying to obtain. It is insane, the problem with these drugs, prescription or otherwise. So that's another big factor, too, with what's happening with us as mothers and bringing new souls into this planet.
And wasn't that set up in a past generation to make it so that the sisters went on those drugs and believed in the doctor's prescriptions? Wasn't that already set up, and so we're just seeing the effects of it now?
Yep, so true. So true. Oh, just had a new arrival into the family, and she came early, and so she had to stay in the hospital, like she was underweight, and I just, all I could do was just meditate to the ancestors and everything up there, just asking them what, because I can't even imagine what they were shoving and sticking in this child once the mother went home, you know.
How early was the child?
She was due, what is this, March? This is April. She was due May, and she came the end of March. She wasn't too bad. She was almost, I think, 4.5 pounds, so that wasn't bad at all.
Under the circumstances, no. And you know, the truth of the matter is, if you were to give her, and they will not do it, unless her caretakers are natural tactics or whatever. What's the word I'm looking for? And they even have some certified. They will never give them the cellular tissue stuff. Never going to give them.
Mm-hmm. I know.
And trust me, even at this early age, if they were to give just a small doses to it, they would correct whatever it was that he was lacking from coming early. It really would. We have testimony. But these doctors are not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why we have to do something different with our health care.
That's
you know what I mean?
Definitely. Definitely.
The read of health is what? Heal, H-E-A-L, which is why they say physician heal myself. You know? I think we're going to be doing it, and Eve's going to be doing, well, that's just for saying.
We definitely have to do something about our eating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our health problems, and I mean, it's just, and you know, I try to share as much information as I can, not preaching to anyone, not trying to force them to do anything, just giving them something to think about, you know. But when you mention a natural product to them, it's like, no, they got to go to a doctor. They have to go get a shot. They're ready to get surgery, and I'm like, oh well.
And look, they could be devoted to the Bible and Christians and will rebuke the natural stuff. But isn't that what it says that you're supposed to be doing right in there, right in that book? Mm-hmm. Like, what kind of paranoia is that? I mean, really. So
our job is really cut out. It's really cut out just to try to inform and get the mothers to open up their minds. The young ones, I believe the young ones are a lot more acceptable. I think anyone 20 and younger, they seem to be so much more, because they know something's not right. I say under 25, they're a little bit more open than anyone after that. They're caught up in these corporations and this day in and day out madness. It's just, wow. I just sometimes just
well, that's why it's for the young and yet unborn. That's why he said it.
Yeah,
because,
definitely.
You know, like, when you look at it logically, they're not tied into all of these implied, expressed, or written contracts and agreements. You know what I mean? People have to get out of it. That's the best way. Then they can really breathe and be the truth. You know? Yeah. So that's one of the reasons. Because that's how you uplift the nation. Is to be yourself. We have to be ourselves, and ourselves is not, you know, a lot of the stuff, as you're saying, that they have to them. Like, basically, we know that we're basically alkaline based, and they are acidic based. So therefore, the things that they will say that you need to say, it's not going to work for you. And they may say, right, things like that. You know, being aware and it goes deeper than that as well. But yeah, so this is why it is for the young animal, because that's the nation. I mean, the children are their ancestors return, and so are we. And we're here for that restoration to restore what is lacking, and because humanity is born and the child of humanity, and this is why, again, in the book of John, it says, speaking of God, it says, oh my goodness,
but it's
humanity
moving forward. We're moving forward, that's for sure.
Yeah, most definitely we're moving forward. There's no question about that. And here's the thing, that whether, like the prophet said, I've given you enough to save the entire nation, save yourself. And so, we can count the numbers of those who are really on it. So therefore, it doesn't really matter much as long as you're doing it with you, then those numbers shall increase,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And that's what it is. So.
Again, it was a great class today. A lot of information. And I thank you.
Well,
and I thank the sister that called in. It was great.
Yeah. And
Sister Anna L.
I don't know. Is she back yet? Sister Anna, because we're gonna close out. Let me see. You are you 903? No, you're not 73. Okay. Sister Anna Eid, are you there?
Anna Eid, yeah.
Did you say yeah, or was that yeah?
Anna Eid? No, that was I who said that. Yeah, I said L, but it's E. That's Anna Eid.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I knew that she had to do something. She had to step off for a second there at a certain time. It would be this time. But with that being said, we always appreciate your call. And I don't see, let me see. Here it is. Hold on. She had to do something, and she locked her car. She just went out to her car to get something, and she locked her keys in the car. And therefore, she got an issue, and I'm sure she'll get that taken care of. I think something happened. And with that, Sister Carol, appreciate your call. Doesn't look like we have any more callers. We put a lot of information on the table to review. Don't believe it. Go check it out for yourself. Again, I highly suggest that you read the Secret Teachings of John. It is on the Sister on Law page, as well as on the Return of the Moabite, because it will simply help the sisters to overstand, and understand the truth. Okay, because you got to stand under the truth, stand over the truth, and let the truth emanate from within. That is what the light is. The light is the truth. The truth is also the holy breath referred to. So therefore, that holy breath is given to Mother. So if you don't know, then don't complain about the condition of humanity, because you are supposed, and with that being said, let me see, I think there's another message. No. All right, so we're good. So with that being said, read that, see how it resonates with you, and then make whatever necessary changes you need to make, because what is happening is there is no honor to the foundation, to the mother. Everything has turned patriarchal. Even unto when you read the bibliothea, their maker is a male, and they're true, because he made you from the dust of the earth. It's a separate creation, and it's not because we say so. It's right there. Read Genesis 1 into Genesis 2, and you will see there's two creations. In fact, it's a play on words. When the all, whatever God, as they use that term, says that I shall make it rain, rain comes from above. Well, read Genesis 2:1, where he said that he was going to have a mist come up from the earth before the seed could bloom of the trees that were there. He said, I'm going to have a mist come up from the earth. And I'm going to make man from the dust. That's an exact contradiction to what was just said. What was just said, not what was said before, but what is right here on the written pages. So you have the two creations. There's no doubt. No diggity, no doubt. And in most of them, it comes in and it says, God said, let there be, light. And it says that you had dominion. And that's what I meant to go back to. And I'm going to close on this. That you have dominion over the earth, over the fishes, over everything. But if you read Genesis 2, he says, I'm going to make man from the dust so that he can work the earth. Well, there's your slave. Sister is right there. So that's a usurpation of what Genesis 1 says. So you got to understand your Genesis 1 creations. Now, when I said that Sophia, the mother, realized what had happened and she repented. Sisters, you've already cried all these tears. That's why you feel sad sometimes. Because you've already repented. Like they'll say, well, it's the woman's fault. But she repented already. And because of the repenting is the reason why the mission has been initiated and is going on to uplift the fallen humanity. Because she repented. Had she not repented, it wouldn't be going down, right? So they just told you. That's right. It's like you can't come home. You got to stay, and it says it. It says you got to stay in this ninth realm, or they'll say heaven or whatever, just above your son. That's exactly what it says. So if we say that, then somebody gets offended. But that's what it is. That's what it is. And the reason you don't know that is because we do not wish for you to know that. Because when you're talking about the creation from the dust of, the secondary creation, and then you go forth in the bibliophilic text, you're not realizing that you're talking about the descendants of Adam and Eve that was created from the dust. But Genesis 1 tells you not that. It says go down and replenish the earth. Don't worry about food. Just eat the trees, eat the fruit from the trees. Make that your meat. So that's the true definition of meat. Flesh is not the true definition of meat. So, and then it says, and enjoy the earth. Matter of fact, you got dominion over everything down there. Okay, so doesn't that sound different from when you go into Genesis 2 and it says, I'm going to make man from the dust and he's going to work? He's telling you it's a slave. Now, when you understand this, because that's your child. That's your child, huh? So you got to restore. When you understand this, you'll understand why you have the story that she had 2 nations in her womb. Not 1, 2. Because this is what they're referring to in that respect. So why are we saying it? It's important to know who to and what is what. That's all. That's all. Because if you're thinking something else, you're in the wrong, you got the wrong foundation. Now, Sophia, once you realize he wrote something, when y'all hear this, and what she wrote, because Sophia means wisdom, right? Is chapter 1 of the 37 Holy Quran. The fall of man, the fallen righteousness, right? The creation. And what's chapter 1 called, Kara? The creation and fall of man. Am I right?
Right. Correct. Islam.
Islam. So it's right there in chapter 1, the creation and fall of man. And she says, hear ye. She's making a plea to you. She's making the plea. That is Mother Sophia, which is called wisdom. Wisdom is Sophia. And it says it in the circle 7. It says it. Wisdom is speaking. So in case you want to know who wrote that chapter, she tells you. Wisdom is speaking. Hear you. Are you protoplasm? Are you beast? Everything. And then she tells you. So this is why chapter 1. And in chapter 1, it tells you, man, it's all right there. It brings him right back to that. So after and during, after she realized what she has to do, she then made that plea and said, hear you, hear you. And it's called the Creation and Fall of Man, chapter 1 of the Church of the Holy Quran. And it says, man is not. Right? And then it says, you will gain back your heritage in a conflict. They cannot be told in words, because when you get this information and you convert down, it's conflicting with what you have been doing and what you've been taught. Like you said, just haven't been taught. So therefore, that conflict is your conflict, it's your experience. And the reason why it is in a conflict that cannot be told in words is because you already had the conflict, and now you're going to share it and tell somebody about it. But when the conflict came, it was with you and you alone, all alone. That's the conflict where you will gain back your heritage. And a conflict that can't be told in words. Because you be trying to, you be trying to, like Carol, and you come and share a lot, you be trying to explain it, and then you like, well, I can't really explain it. It was like it was divine intervention. It was the spirit. I follow my intuition. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain it, right?
It is, yes.
Yes. Because, yes, there's nothing new. So, chapter 1, and the secret teachings of God. And anything else you can get your hands on to read. Don't ask somebody what you can read. When you're reading it, it will speak into your soul. When the words hit your ears, it will feel good in your heart, and you will know that it is meant for you. The problem is, most all of our ancient writings do that to us upon reading them. The problem is that they have hidden or not directed, or we have been not directed to be taught that. We have not had that put before us in school, for instance. You know, we have not been pointed in that direction to read those ancient writings that actually speak to your soul when you read them. And you know it's meant for you. That is not what they put in the public school system at all. At all. So you haven't been exposed to it, and it has bred generations of fools right on in the public school system, because you got fools, you know. So this is why we really have to recognize that, you know, we know that it hasn't been put there. When we do find the right, it does something different to us, and that happens to us is a conflict. As soon as we get the light of truth, it is conflicting with what we have been bred to do. So it's time, past time, that we have to bring in the souls and the generations, or generation and generations thereafter, that have this knowledge, which means it has to come from mother as she teaches in the womb, the first school, and baptizes with water, which means water means knowledge. That's why we keep bringing it back, because that's where it's at, and because she's the one who made the creation in the first place. So, I've been biting her in the butt ever since. She's been chasing it. It's been chasing her. That's the funny part. Yeah, it's like you chasing to restore, and they're chasing to do more harm. And so then you got to recognize, you know, that's what it is. Tracing the dragon's tail, as you said, or, you know, the tail of the snake or whatever. It all goes back within. So with that, I think that there is one more caller that has a question. So, Mr. Carol.
Thank you so much, Sister Roz. And I will use Sister Anna eat up nothing but peace and love.
All right. Same to you, sis. Thank you for calling. If there's another caller, it'll probably be the last caller because it's 4 415-941, you're live on the air. Do you have a question or comment?
Yes, Mama Roz, this is Sister Amala calling in from the New Jersey territory. Peace and love to everyone.
It's my sister. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing quite well, and you?
Quite well, thank you.
That's good. The phone kind of went out when you were giving the names of I think either books or something to read, and I didn't catch them. I was trying to catch those three things that you said to go back and read.
Yes.
And I don't know if you were just referring to the Bible.
No, I wasn't. I did tell people to look at Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 so they could see that there's two creations right there on that first book. Genesis 1 going into Genesis 2. If you read it, you'll see when you get to Genesis 2:1, you'll see that someone else researched and then created man from the dust, which is the second creation. So therefore, we are manifest and spirit man manifest in the flesh. There is one depict on the sixth day, which is Friday, which is Venus, which is mother, and that's the indication there. And then, and that's also why the 101 say, or what day was man formed in the flesh? Why is Friday the holy day? Because man was formed in the flesh on Friday, which is in his mother's womb. And it says that he was also, it's the day that he would depart from the sun. People think that means the day he's going to die, because I certainly used to think that. But it means that when the child is born and gives birth, you're departing from the flesh of your mother. So that's why Friday's the holy day. So I did say to read that so you could see that there's two different manifestations. And, a lot of people are saying their children say of Israel, not understanding that Israel was a scientist who in Genesis 32, you will see that it clearly says that Israel, it says Israel, your name shall now be, Yakub, manifest, man out of nature, in the lab, scientist, scientifically, genetically, whatever. It says your name shall now be Israel. So without us knowing the difference, a lot of us will go around saying we're children of Israel without knowing the distinction. That would mean we're children of what the Albion that was created, not of what we think. So it's important to understand Genesis 1 to Genesis 2 because a lot of people are saying they're children of God that made man from the dust, and we're not. We're not from that at all. It's clearly pointed. So aside from that, the other book that I say all women should read, and we have it in two locations on the site, is the Secret Book of John. And it's on the Sister Standing on Law and on the Return of the Moabite. And then I said that the Secret Teachings of the Brotherhood of the East, chapter 8, tells you there, which in the MHHS, they refer to that as the Red Book, but it's actually the Secret Teachings of the Brotherhood of the East. Chapter 8 says how we all must now make priests of ourselves. It's clear because the priests that men has had for themselves, which are other people, they have no use anymore. They're only good for funerals and great graveyards and funeral camps, so that the new celestial is that that's woven to wear, or garment, if you will, all being, allegorical, is that we have to make priests of ourselves and stop looking for leaders, because remember, our sages within, our devils within. And then lastly, I mentioned after I explained what had occurred in terms of what Mother did in her thoughts and what she created out of harmony, nature, or the elements as they are described in astrology, the energies and the elements, is to read her plea, which would be the creation and fall of man, which is chapter 1 of the Circle 7 Holy Quran. So, Genesis 1 and 2 is the only thing that was from that. Secret Teachings of John, chapter 8. And the chapter 1 of the Circle 7 Holy Quran. And also, there was one more, chapter 2 of the Circle 7 Holy Quran, where it clearly says that the sons will be the first revealers of the light, provided that they have been given the light. It's right in there. So oftentimes you'll hear us say, because they're out there, but they're the ones who have been given the light, and the only way they're given the light is through the mother in the first school womb, which is the womb. So there was a fourth one. Chapter 1, chapter 2 of the Circle 7 Holy Quran, chapter 8 of the Secret Teachings of the Brotherhood of the East, or what may be referred to as the Red Book if you're in the temple, and the Secret Teachings of John. Those are the books.
Thank you so much for clearing that up for me. I appreciate it.
All right. How are you doing?
I am divinely well. I'm great. Just glad that I was able to tune in and listen to the first individual build on some really important topics. So I was just enjoying the dialogue. And thank you, as always, for, extending a lot of love and light, to us all. I appreciate you.
All right. We appreciate you, too. I just want to ask you this because I do get people from all over that ask who I know in the Adulas. And, I don't know how you – I know that you are a you definitely are what people would call what do they call you? My mind's not thinking. You assist with childbirth, and they call them duals, but people. Excuse me.
Yeah, childbirth. I was following along with what you were saying.
Well, not just childbirth, but you'll assist people all through their pregnancy.
Sacred
to
Woman.
That end.
Is it Sacred Woman?
No. What do they call them generically? Well, what do they call them? What is the word that people have used that they call women who
birth workers, midwives.
Midwives. That's the name. That's the name I was looking for. Because people can relate to that if you say that. You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking. Yes. Thank you. Because we don't use that term too much. But I don't know.
For me, a lot of people get doula and midwife confused. It's very similar, but a midwife is more closer to a doctor. They're qualified. They have a certain educational background that provides a certain level of care to women during pregnancy, delivery, and after birth. I am what you would call a birth worker, a support person, a village worker. So I don't do a lot of the medical stuff, but I do more of the emotional empowerment, helping the father, the mother, the family, being a support to ensure a woman gets her needs met and is not violated. So I do more of that type of work.
All right. I don't know how, to extend. I don't know what your network is. If someone says, "Oh, I need someone to do that and to direct us in that," if I were to refer them to you, would you be able to refer them to someone? Because a lot of people are not necessarily close by, and you can't really do too much, I guess, traveling. But I guess you can do some advice or something through other ways of communication. I mean, does your network
So, Mama Raj, I would say that I'm definitely connected. I have a network of midwives. So, like a lot of women that do work with me and they really need a midwife, I'm able to connect them into certain states. So I am on Instagram under Urban Indigenous Urban Doula. And then my information is still the same, which is earthretreat.com. That's EARTHS, retreat.com. Anybody can gain access to me, email, number, everything is there. And so I do get a lot of women that think I'm a midwife And so what I do is I'll consult with them. I'll find out what their needs are. A lot of times they only really need a doula. And then if they need a midwife, I normally have different connections in a variety of states. I did study under the same organization as Erykah Badu, which is the International Center for Traditional Childbearing. And so I do have some resources. So you can send them to me. My number is on my website. My email is there. And I'll be better able to assist them from that platform.
Thank you. Now, give me the website, Earth what?
It's called Earth Retreat. So, yeah,
Earth Retreat. Like retreat, earthretreat.com.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
That's good. I got it.
And then I do have a public business line number, and I can give it to you if you'd like me to.
Well, I don't know if you want to get. You said it's public. If you want to give it out on the air, or you just want them to go to Earth Retreat and then get it from there. Is that?
I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's not a number directly connected with me, so it's not like it would be any breach of confidentiality of any sort. But the website is great. But the number is 732-807-5205.
5205. Okay, so 732-807-5205. Website is earthretreat.com. So that would be it for all those sisters who are looking for some direction and advice. I'm glad that you'll be able to assist them because that's what we need. All right. Thank you so much, Amila.
You're very welcome.
Have a wonderful day and a better rest of the life.
Thank you so much. I love you.
Love you too. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
All right. So now it looks like that's going to end our program. Thank you, Marla, for ending it with that thorough for the sisters. Help get them on the right track. That is a wonderful thing. And with that, I think that we're going to close out. I got to check on Sister. I need to make sure she's safe with the keys being identified. I'm trying to see if, and I don't remember because Anna Eve always closes out this show, and I'm not sure what the music is that she uses. Close out. I'm going to do this. This is it. So, thank you for listening to us back here. Same channel, same number, on Tuesday, 9:30 for National Principles in Action. Peace and love. Have a wonderful week. And let your Mercury bring in your communications that are necessary at this time in a very positive manner.
Somebody that just loves to learn, and another child grows up to be somebody you just love to burn. Mom loves the both of them. You see, it's in the blood. Both kids are good and bomb. Blood's thicker than the mud. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. checking each other out. Hey, nobody wants to blow. Nobody wants to be left out. You can't leave 'cause your heart is there. But you can't stay 'cause you've been somewhere else. You can't cry 'cause you look broke down. But you're crying anyway 'cause you're all broke down. It's a family